Is anyone here for the first time? Wow. Okay, a lot of people here for the first time. Thank you for coming. So, here at Hare Krishna Valley, we like to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And the mantra is extremely powerful. We practice for 2 hours a day in meditation. We chant on beads. They're called japa mala. You'll see a lot of people have beads these days. Buddhist people, they have beads, and Christians chant on the rosary, and we also chant on beads. So when we chant on the beads, it's a form of meditation, and we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, the one that we were just chanting, for 2 hours a day on beads. And it's a way of connecting us to Krishna, to God, to the Supreme Spirit, and making our consciousness pure. It says in the ancient teachings of India, the names of the mantra, Krishna and Rama, these are names of God. Hare refers to the feminine aspect of Krishna, of God. You'll see in the picture there's Krishna's with his female consort. So her name is Radha, or we say Hare, and then Krishna, Rama. So we're approaching the feminine and the masculine aspect of God. And Abhinitva Nama Namano, it says in the ancient teachings, the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are not different. So when we chant the name of Krishna, like we're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra just before, we feel spiritually purified because we're directly connected to the Supreme. And when we're connected to the Supreme, then you feel that energy and you feel that purification taking place. One becomes purified in consciousness. So we do this on a regular basis. We chant for 2 hours a day, privately, like in our meditative state. And then we chant together, like we just did then. And on Tuesday is actually one of our biggest, it's our second biggest festival of the year. It's the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is said to be an incarnation of Krishna, of God himself, who appeared 500 years ago in India. So on that day, we chant all day long. We'll get up about 4 o'clock in the morning. The first ceremony in the temple is at 4:30, and then we'll chant. And after that, we'll do about 2 hours of meditative chanting, and then we'll get together and we'll do more group chanting again. And then usually we go out on the streets of Melbourne and we chant all around. Then we come back to the temple in the afternoon and we do some more chanting. And then at the end of the day, because we fast all day, at the end of the day we have a big feast. And then some people keep chanting, and then so that's our process. Our message to the world is chant and be happy. What is the motto of modern society?
Buy everything.
Buy everything, yeah. What's the money, money, money? Yeah. What is the message of modern society? The message of modern society is don't chant and be miserable. Ours is the opposite. Chant and be happy. Right? And if it doesn't work, you didn't lose anything. Just try it for a week. In your home, just try it. Just do some chanting, get some beads from our shop. Just do some chanting, do some meditation, chant the mantra over it. And if it works, if you feel purified, closer to Krishna, and it's beginning to work, then keep doing it. And if it doesn't work, then you didn't lose anything. And if you're feeling miserable, if you're feeling a little bit depressed, sometimes people in the world feel depressed. Do you ever feel a little bit depressed sometimes? Sometimes people feel a little bit down like that. Then all you have to do is put your hands in the air. You can do it all now. Put your hands in the air. How do you feel right now?
Elevated.
Elevated, very good. How do you feel? What is that? Uplifted, yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Very good.
Very good. That's good. How do you feel? It's impossible to be depressed in this posture. It's antidepressant. This is antidepressant. You don't need medication. You can put your hands down if you want. Or if you want to keep them up, you can. For the rest of the talk, you can just... There you go. Up to you. But this is antidepressant. Because you see, like at the cricket, you know, when Australia plays India or something, or any of the football or anything, when they kick a goal, everyone goes, ah! No one's depressed at that point. You know, no one's like, oh man, I'm having a really bad day, man. You can't. It's antidepressant. That's the nature of the soul. There's the bliss, the ananda of the soul going. But we shouldn't just do it for every time someone hits a six at the cricket or something like that. That's not the goal of life. Okay, maybe you're happy for a minute, but that's not going to solve your problems. Chanting Hare Krishna will solve the problems. That's why we do. We do like this. You see the Hare Krishnas, our hands in the air, going down the streets like that. In your own home, if you're feeling down a little bit, you just go into your kitchen, just go around the kitchen bench or the kitchen table, just do a few laps. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. See if it works. If it solves all your problems, then that's a good thing. If it doesn't solve your problems, then we'll give you your money back. No problem. No. But if it works, then try it. No. And keep doing it. We've been doing it for many years. It works very nicely. No. You've done it once or twice? So, is it good? A few times? It works?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So the more you do it, I see the happiest people are the people who chant the most. So on Tuesday we have a Maha Mahotsava, which means a big festival. Some of us will go to Melbourne, our temple. There'll be over 1,000 people there, maybe 2,000 people, something like that. Big festival. And we have to feed everyone. Well, there's no problem for us. We can feed unlimited people, no problem. One of our temples in Puri. Have you been to Puri? Orissa? On the east coast of India? No? Biggest kitchen in the world, 700 ovens. The kitchen is 1 acre in size. Right? 700 ovens, all wood fire. All cooked on wood. They still don't use electricity or gas, even to this day. Thousands of years. Same recipes for thousands of years. Right? Delicious. We call it prasad, blessed food. So at that place, they can cook for 10,000 people in 3 hours. In that 1 acre. We just built a big kitchen in Melbourne actually. We just spent $2 million building a big kitchen in Melbourne. So because we got so many people come to our temple. On Krishna's birthday, we feed 8,000 people in 2 days. So we had to build a big kitchen just to feed everyone, to keep up that. So this is very simple. Life is very simple. Eat spiritual food, do some chanting, read some spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita, very powerful books. We have them in our bookshop. And special sale we're having today. Only $20 a copy. Special sale price, only for today. Actually, it's that price every day of the year. But we just like to make you enthused. If people think something's like special, they go, oh, yeah, okay. Very powerful books. Right? Just read a verse a day, simple. Right? Do some chanting and just spiritual food, you'll feel happy like that. We also have a very nice kids' room out the back there, like that. You can still hear everything, like that. And if he wants to sit, because otherwise it's hard to. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Have to be a little bit quiet today. Only one lecture today. That's good. Otherwise, if you want to go there, you can play and you can still hear. No problem. No problems. So does anyone have any questions or comments that you would like to ask? Something about spiritual life, about helping ourselves improve in our consciousness, getting closer to the meaning of life. We can try to answer those things. Quite often people have some questions you'd like to ask, so if anyone would like to ask something, you can ask.
When you chant in the streets,
Yeah.
is it so that you make other people aware of the benefits? Or is it just something that you like to do and you're better to do it?
Yeah, why do we do it? Yeah, it's a good question. The main reason we do it is because it purifies the consciousness of the people on the street. That's the main reason we do it. Sound vibration is what molds our entire existence, our whole lives, are molded by sound. Why did you come here today? Because of sound. You heard, someone said, oh, they have a Hare Krishna open day, so sound. And then you thought, okay, maybe I'll go and experience that. So sound modifies everything we do. So we have to be very careful which sound we put into our consciousness. Because if you watch a television, you have a television. Yeah, so people watch television and we're getting bombarded with all this very positive sound all day. Yeah. I don't have a television. I haven't had a television for 30 years. So, you know, because I don't want that sound to bombard my consciousness. What's the point? 90%. I have a friend actually, Ronnie, lives up in Melbourne. He's works in a factory, kind of like a simple guy, really good-hearted, simple guy. He rings me once in a while, right? He's known me for years, so he kind of likes what we do in our life. So he rings me from time to time. Then he rang me a couple of years ago and he said, you know, he works really hard. So, you know, I said, I just worked really hard, spent all this money, bought this $3,000 TV, I think called plasma TV or something, like big one, like 10 foot or something. I don't know. And he's telling me, he said, I brought this TV and then I got it there and, it was big, excitement and we put it on. And he said, but there's nothing on. I spent all this money and there's nothing on. 90% of it's not worth watching. So I worked that out many years ago. 90% of it's not worth watching. So I'm not going to keep something that takes up a big portion of my house when 90% of what's there is not. So that sound is affecting your consciousness. So we have to be very careful who we listen to. Every morning for the last 30 years, when I get up in the morning, it takes me about half an hour, 40 minutes to get ready from when I wake up to when I finish bathing and doing everything. So I listen to lectures from our gurus, spiritual people. So from the very moment I get up, I'm getting spiritual sound into my consciousness. And then after that, then I begin my meditation. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So then I'm chanting. So that spiritual sound is purifying my consciousness. So why do we go onto the streets? Because that will purify and uplift the consciousness of the people.
You're not aware of that, are they?
No, they're not. That's called Agyata Sukriti in Sanskrit. Means unknown benefit or pious activity. Means they don't know, but still they get the benefit. Like that. So, you can come. Some people just arrive, so do you want to just make them feel comfortable? Yeah, some people just. So, it is called Agyata Sukriti. So, Agyata Sukriti means we don't know that it's benefiting us, but it does. Just like if you take medicine, right? Generally, we don't take allopathic medicine, the stuff they sell in chemists, all the chemicals. We take Ayurvedic medicine or natural medicine, like pure from plants and things. Very rarely I take some antibiotic or something. Very rarely. But we take this natural. So even if you don't know, if you're taking that medicine every day, even if you don't know what it is or the benefit it will give you, but if you take it every day, you will get the effect.
If people are resistant and they find that not pleasant to their ear or whatever the chanting,
Yeah.
do they still receive it?
Receive it means?
The peace or the vibes or the...
They may not receive, they definitely get purified. Some benefit is there. As you said, whether they receive it, you have to receive it openly. So the people who are inimical or resistant to it, obviously that gives less effect. Just like when you take any medicine, like we're talking about natural medicines, but any medicine, if your psychology or your mentality is this will benefit me, it will benefit you more than someone who's resistant. We all know those basic concepts, yeah. So if someone on the street is thinking, this is really annoying me or I don't like it or something like that, okay, it's less effect, but still the benefit is there because the sound is pure. So we see over time, because we've been doing this in the cities around the world for years, and we see over time people are getting more and more into it. Generally, we always get, like I've been doing this for 30 years. I've chanted under the Eiffel Tower. I've chanted like all over the world, many, many places. And generally I see these days, it's very rare that you get some sort of negative reaction. Quite rare. Whereas, 30 years ago when I started, it was more common. Even someone spat in my face one time. Point blank range, just going like that. But I was so blissful, I was like, it was a bit unpleasant, but it didn't really disturb me. I was in a very spiritual state of consciousness at the time, which was lucky. Because, if he had got me at another time, I might have been a little bit agitated like that. But generally people are like that. So even if someone doesn't have like the right mentality, it still will benefit. And we're seeing that the more this chanting spreads around the world, the more the consciousness of the world is lifting up. We're seeing it, practically.
So you are increasing in numbers all the time?
All the time, yeah. But it goes in waves around the planet. Like at the moment, Ukraine is taking off. India is taking off. India, it's funny because this all comes from India. But in the 70s, it was like hardly anyone would join. 70s, even going in the 80s, it began to build in India. But now in India, it's massive. But it took decades, and that's where it came from. So it goes in waves. Like Australia was big in the 70s and the 80s, the 90s it kind of died down. Now it's kind of resurging. Thank God. Australia's making its comeback. But yeah, it's always growing internationally.
So would you say that chanting diminishes suffering?
Setting.
Does chanting diminish suffering?
Yeah, of course. That's one of the auxiliary or secondary effects of chanting. It's called kleshagni. Klesha means, in Sanskrit, it means distress or suffering. It means to burn up. The more you chant, but that's not the main reason why we do it. The main reason why we do it is to connect to Krishna, to God. And we're actually asking for service. That's like our main thing. But secondarily, because when you come towards Krishna, your light becomes illuminated. It becomes full of positivity. And then suffering just drops off as like a secondary.
So you're communicating to like a superior being, is it?
We're connecting to God.
Yeah.
Yeah. The superior being. Not just, the source of everything. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ham Savasya Prabhavo Mataha Savam Pravartate. It means I created everything. Everything means? Everything. Means everything. That's it. All powerful. Someone who knows past, present and future everywhere simultaneously. That's Krishna. That's God. People have different names for the Supreme, but we say Krishna. That's Krishna's like the private name of God. God's like the position. Like you have the Prime Minister, that's the position. But then the name of the Prime Minister is ScoMo. So if he's walking by, hey, ScoMo, high five. He's like, hey, Keish, high five. I don't know him, but that's like an intimate name. If I go past and say, oh, Mr. Prime Minister, like that, that's like, it conjures reverence. So God is the position, but Krishna is the name, is the person.
So I gather Mr. Morrison is not your Krishna.
Mr. Morrison's not a Krishna?
He's not your Krishna.
He's not what?
Never mind.
Not my Krishna. Though I worship Scott Morrison. What to say? Yeah, he's a religious man. But not what I would call an incredibly enlightened soul. He's not at the bottom of consciousness. He's not like the lowest type of consciousness that we see, but it's certainly not the most evolved either. We have to choose our leaders very carefully. The people you follow have to choose very carefully. I follow Prabhupada, who is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. He's on the seat of honor. That's his picture over there. That's someone who I will follow because the teachings of the person are pure. The lifestyle of the person was pure. So that's where my faith is. So I'll follow him, even though he's not in this world. He left the world in 1977. But his teachings I follow. That's it. Scott Morrison's teachings, I'd have to sift through them. Certainly wouldn't follow exclusively. So the answer is yes, your suffering will dissipate easily. Like as Hare Krishnas, we don't suffer a lot, comparatively. Everyone suffers in this world. Suffering is unavoidable. If you want to be free from suffering, go back to the other world. Because they don't suffer up there. But down here, that's a different story. But you can live, your suffering can be greatly reduced by adopting the philosophy and lifestyle which we practice and teach. Just like, I was speaking to some of our guests before we started about the fires that we've had and the floods and the rains and the storms wrecking our festivals and our lives and our community, everything. And now, now that the worst thing has happened, now we've got no toilet paper. I was in Coles in Morn Ponds yesterday, walking down the aisle, there's no toilet paper. Why are you laughing? How am I supposed to live? In India, they just use water. You just get some water, wash your body, and that's it, done. What's the problem? Oh my God, no toilet paper. Quick, stockpile it. Don't you come to my house, don't steal my toilet paper. It's like, wars will be fought over toilet paper in the future. This will become like the main command. Why toilet paper, for God's sake? It's how crazy. And the coronavirus, if you look at the statistics, it's not that dangerous. I'm not saying it's not dangerous, but it's not that dangerous. If you look at the actual stats, if you're under 50, the chance of you getting it, super slim, less than 1%. The chance of you dying from it, it's point. You know, it's not a big threat. Yeah, it could become a problem, but you know, the way the world is, we can get onto these things. Stop eating bats. Stop eating snakes that have eaten bats. That's where they say the diseases come from. So Hare Krishnas were vegetarian, oh, that would help. You know, if the whole world would adopt that kind of diet, automatically we've reduced a lot of these diseases already. So the suffering, if people will follow the philosophy and the lifestyle that we practice, they'll see a lot of the misery will go down. You won't have to worry about viruses. You'll have plenty of toilet paper. Or you might even start using water. Or, you know, we do all sorts of things. So suffering is optional, to a degree. You've got control about how much suffering you have. That's under our control. In our lifestyle, the suffering is like on this level. You can't do away with it, but it's on this level. Most of society are living on that level. You have to change your lifestyle. Just like some more people there. Make them feel comfortable. So, Boris, can you go and speak to them? With them. So, just like, you know, we had the big fires recently. Even here, we had big fires in 1983, Ash Wednesday. This whole farm was burnt down in 1983. So it will happen again. These fires, they come periodically. But the main reason why these fires come is because of the negative karma. Because we're all living and we're all killing animals all the time. I mean, not us, but, you know, so many people, they eat meat and they kill animals and all these things. And then eventually, what happens? All the karma comes back. Does I remember they had the tsunami? Remember when the tsunami was there? The big one? What year was that?
2005.
2005 was it? Yeah, 4 or 5. Remember that time. So they had that big tsunami. That was back about 2004, 2005. So what happens every day? People pull fish out of the ocean. Kill all the fish, kill all the fish. Right? It hurts. The fish don't like it. Do you think they enjoy it? Right? And then later on, the ocean says, okay, we're going to take some of you back. You're going to take all the creatures from our environment, we'll take some from your environment. The ocean comes up, pulls down 300,000 people in a few moments. That's karma, that's the way, that's the reality. People don't like to admit that, or accept that, or live with that. Same with the fires. Why do the fires come? Because, you know, we're going to kill so many animals and kill so many things, and then suddenly it all comes back to us. And then we say, oh, why is that happening to us? No, it's within our control. We can live differently. So you can control the negativity to a great, the suffering can be controlled to a great degree. So, very nice question. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, madam.
Is Murugan a Hare Krishna god?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Is Murugan a Hare Krishna god?
Muruga?
Yeah.
From Malaysia, you mean?
No, it's an Indian god, I'm pretty sure.
What, can you describe what
I've got no idea. That's why I'm asking.
looks like?
It's blue. The person's blue.
That doesn't help very much because
God shields.
a lot of our gods are blue. Murugan.
Ganesha.
Ganesh's brother.
Name for Ganesh?
Murugan is the other name of Ganesh.
Half elephant, half man. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
So Ganesh.
It's Ganesh.
Yeah, okay, so now I know who you're talking about. It's okay. So what was the question?
I was wondering if it was a Hare Krishna god, because it
Is
comes from India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we, in our theology, our tradition goes back thousands of years. It's actually the oldest tradition in the world. It predates Christianity by 3,000 years, predates Buddhism by 2,000 years. It's the oldest. Predates Islam by 3,500 years. It's the oldest tradition, if you study from a theological point of view. So in our ancient tradition, it mentions there are many gods. But Hinduism, which we're technically a part of, is seen as being a pantheistic philosophy, which means there are many gods, and many Hindus will say, I believe in all the gods. I accept all the gods. All the gods are one. You are God, I am God, we are all God, it is all one. But that's not actually what the original teachings teach. They teach there's one supreme being, just like in our government, we have one supreme leader who has, he's the most powerful entity. And then you have cabinet ministers who have different departments they take care of. So the different gods, like Ganesh, for example, or Shiva or Brahma or Durga, they're departmental heads. They run certain parts of the universe and so forth. But they're not the supreme being. So is Ganesh part of our tradition? Yeah, he's part of our tradition. Do we see him as being the supreme god? No, we don't. We see him as being a cabinet minister. Usually people in India, they pray to him to remove obstacles. If they've got problems in their life, they pray to him and he removes problems for you. So we see him like that. We don't see, but then we would go to Krishna. We would go to his boss, God himself, because he can remove all the obstacles. Even Ganesh, some things he may not remove or could not remove, but Krishna can remove everything. So that's how we look.
He
wrote the Vedas? Yeah. Yeah, Ganesh helped to compile all these ancient books in the past also. So yeah, he's part of our tradition. Any other questions?
He's the son of Shiva as well, right?
Yeah, Ganesh, yeah, technically. Son of Shiva and Parvati. Yeah, that's good. Yes, madam.
It's been estimated that about 1 billion animals were killed by the bushfires.
Yep.
Not very many people were killed. How can you reconcile that so many creatures were killed, and yet, people suffered, but a lot of lives were lost?
Yeah, okay. Just give it time, that's all. Just give it time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because what we did, the fires were basically caused by humans. Fires come all the time, that's part of life. But to that extent, that's because of our mismanagement of the earth. Okay. So, we didn't lose so many humans now, but the way the earth is becoming, it's drying up. Water is disappearing because you need trees for water. People don't understand how the whole thing works. You need the animals to keep the ecology, right? The ecosystem balanced. So now that things are so imbalanced, long term, we're going to see more humans suffering. So we're not so, what's our solution to the problem? Go back to the other world. It actually is. That's the whole point of the Hare Krishna movement, not to take birth here again. We don't want to keep reincarnating into this world, right? Even as a human being, even as a Hare Krishna human being, because there are problems here. Whereas in the other world, which in all the different teachings of the world, they talk about this other place. They call it heaven or God's kingdom or whatever. We call it Vaikuntha or Krishna Loka. In that place, there is no suffering. So we're aiming to go there.
So all those creatures have got there before us.
What's that?
All those creatures have got there before us.
No, it doesn't work like that either. No, that's called churchianity. Churchianity, yeah. That's what churchianity teaches. Yeah.
So you're saying we'll go to the other world, but the creatures won't go?
No, you have to. The whole point is, you don't just go to the other world, you have to work to get to the other world. It's not that there was a guy who lived 2,000 years ago who died on a cross for all of our sins, and all we have to say is, I believe in you, and that gets you like a ticket straight into, and that doesn't work. That's not even logical. That's all. We get in the kingdom of God just because we just say we believe in one person. That's not entirely logical. It's how you behave. He was a great teacher who taught us how to behave.
Did you just say that it's the aim of the Hare Krishna to get to the other world?
Yeah.
Did I misunderstand?
No. That's the aim. But what I'm trying to emphasize, it is not just by faith, it's by works. And then the Bible says it's not by works alone, which we also agree with. It's not just by your works, it's going to be by the grace of the superior personality. that you'll be pulled into that other world. But you have to show a level of behavior, a level of character, a level of discipline, a level of love, a level of behavior that will take you into that world. You can't just say, well, you know, someone did the work 2,000 years ago and I just believe in what he did and I'll go. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to become like that. You know, we won't become as good as that. I'll never become as good as, you know, Jesus as an example. You know, he's a great guru. I'll never get to that level. But I have to try very hard to be something like that. At least so when, you know, I'm looked down upon, they don't say, oh, this guy's just a write-off. So yeah, it's not automatic that everyone just that's called churchianity. That's what the church teaches. You know, you just believe and then you all just go back and your dog just goes back and everything just goes back and all the kangaroos are bouncing around in heaven. No, it doesn't work like that. There's something called
Is there any surety about any of it, is there?
What's that?
Is there any surety about any of it?
About?
Any of that? Of the afterlife?
The afterlife? Is there any surety? The surety is only within you, your conviction. Like I'm convinced about my my endeavour to get to that place, and I have a very ancient philosophy which is very detailed about the steps to get to that place. So I'm quite sure, but you know, many people in this room may not be sure at all, because they're somewhere like in between in terms of their commitment to spirituality. If you want to get to that other place, you have to be pretty focused on that. You know, it's not about just turning up once a week and just putting a little bit of money and just, you know, having a little sip of something. It doesn't work like that. You know, and talking down the back row while the person up the front is speaking, and it doesn't work like that. It has to be quite a commitment. Like we do this chanting every day. We live this lifestyle every day. It's not something we just do like on the weekends. No, it's our actual being, it's our essence. And it gives you great happiness. But because we're focused like that, then we've got a chance of getting back. But if someone's not focused, then, you know, I would doubt that you will get there. It's like on anything in life. You know, how are you going to become like a top lawyer or something unless you put in the discipline? It's like saying, oh, we can, you know, in spirituality, we can just kind of do it half-baked and we're all going to get the same destination. It doesn't make sense to me. So can we be sure about the afterlife? Yeah, only you can answer that question. In other words, the question is, how sure are you about it? If you ask me how sure I am, I'm very sure. Am I 100% sure? Yeah, I think I am. I really put a lot of my time and energy, and I have faith in this. Yeah. So then the question, well, I'll get to your question in a second. Yeah, it's cool. No, I'll get there. This will just take a little bit more explanation. So the question comes down to faith. Where does faith come from? Right? Because we all have faith, right? We've all got faith that in so many things. You know, a simple example, you drive in Australia, you drive down the left side of the road, right? So you've got faith everyone driving the other way is going to stay on that side. That's why, otherwise it wouldn't go out on the road. So faith is just part of life. So in terms of our faith, where does, you know, in spirituality, where does it come from? It comes from experience. Right? I do the chanting every day. I take the spiritual food every day, which we're offering to Krishna now, to God now. I read these sacred teachings every day, and I feel an experience. I feel like something is working. I feel connected to Krishna, to God. I felt like that since I was a kid. Even when I was a kid, I used to pray. Before, you know, long before I was a Hare Krishna or anything. I used to pray at night. You know, oh Lord, please look after my dog Scotty, and my mum and dad and my brothers. I used to pray like that.
Was it a Christian tradition?
Not really. My parents weren't religious, but it's just, I suppose that's just the culture. But it was just something, it's just always been there. I've always had this faith there was this other being like that. Then when I came across the Hare Krishna philosophy and when I began to read it and understand it, I thought, oh, this is really, really explaining deeply this other being. You know, that's why I got into it. That's why I shaved my head and put on robes and, you know, dance down the streets, chant under the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff. So yeah, the question of faith can only be answered by one person, that's you. Do I have faith in this? Yeah. Do you have faith in this? I don't know. But that's up to you. Madam.
Do you believe then that we are reincarnated before we reach paradise? many times, or what is that?
Yeah, we've been reincarnated many times. Yeah, I've had many lifetimes. Many, many, many. Do I remember them? No. But do we have many lifetimes? Yeah, we do. Will this be my last one? I hope so. I don't really want to come back. I don't have like an amazing desire to come back here. It's not that great. I don't know if anyone else has got an amazing desire to really come back. Live in one ponds again. Just one more time. Like New Avenue, just one more time. With my 14-inch television, and I just want to, yes. I will own 3 7-Elevens, yes. I just want to come back. Maybe some people do. No, I don't.
Do you then believe that you're reincarnated over the years as an animal, or a human?
Both. Yeah, it's a science. Reincarnation is a science. It's not something, it's not like what you want to be, you become. I remember I moved down here about 12, 13 years ago to run this place. So I remember the first time we had this like Sunday feast, what we call like this open day, this festival, about 3 people came. But now we've built it up. In January we had about 100 people come. Now I think, I don't know, today 50 or something. So more and more people are coming now. Mainly because of Facebook, and Facebook's our friend. Like us. Like us on Facebook. Hands out. So, just because now we know how to communicate to people, to bring people here. And a lot of people are interested, so they come. So, when the first time I came here, and the first time I did this open day, we only had about 3 people come. And then I said to someone, what do you want to become? Like, what would you like to become in your next life? And there's 3 people. I think one said a mouse. Yeah, mouse. I mean, these are random. We get a lot of random people here. So someone said a mouse, right? And I said, why a mouse? And I said, because you can hide, and it's like, I like my privacy, my quiet, so I can I can hide and I can do all this stuff. That's cool. And I said, the next person, I said, I want to be an eagle. So obviously, so I can soar and do the whole thing. And the last one, okay, it was tiger or something. So I took the eagle as the example, because we have eagles live here, wedge-tailed eagles. I saw one yesterday flying. You see, there's a couple. They live over there, so you might see them after the feast. Like that, they're flying around. So they're flying past yesterday, and then 3 magpies take off in pursuit because they think the eagle's going to come and take their eggs. Right, so it's a war up there. We just look at all the, they're so beautiful. No, it's a war. It's like being in World War II, driving your plane around with the Germans behind you all the time. You see the magpies are going at them all the time. It's all peaceful up there. So that's why we don't want to reincarnate, because according to it's not just what you want to become. I want to become an eagle. It doesn't work like that. You can become an eagle. You have an eagle-like desires. The desires you cultivate in this life lead to your next life. Krishna says in Gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhava. Whatever you remember, that's what you become. Whatever consciousness you develop in this life, that's what you take birth as. Just like if you really like sleeping, like some people just love it. Just want to sleep 12 hours a day. Not enough, 14. 6 to 18 hours, 22 hours. Some people get into it. So become a bear. Right? Next life. If that's your consciousness, you become a bear. Right? Then 6 months. Even better, 6 months. Get up. Right? Now I'm hungry. Nothing to eat. They've got to go out. That's why they're angry when they get up. Imagine you've got nothing to eat for 6 months. Right? Get up. So if that's what the desire you cultivate, that's what you'll become. So what we're teaching in our ancient teachings, develop spiritual desires, because spiritual desires will take you back to the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world it says there's no birth, there's no death, there's no old age, there's no disease. That's a pretty good package. But it doesn't matter what job you get in this world, you still got to have birth, death, old age and disease. It's not a good deal. This world is not a good deal. We have been ripped off. We have been. Right? Because originally we were living there with Krishna and we said, I need some space. Sometimes like my daughter's 15, right? She's a Hare Krishna, but she needs a bit of space. She's gone to the city today to go to DFO. to do some shopping, right? She needs some space. Because she's 15, I can't force it. You've got to stay here and do the Hare Krishna. No, she can't. She knows it. She's got to find that herself. So she said, I want to go off with my cousins today, go on shopping, Deepa. All right, so, okay, that's your thing, you go and do that. So according to the desires that you cultivate, that's what you get. So that was her choice. She wants to do like that. So we can't force upon anyone. I'm sorry, I actually lost my point. What was my point? What was the point I was making just before I got into DFR?
We wanted some space.
We left the missing on the space.
We wanted some space. Excellent. Thank you, Ari. Ari's my assistant. Like that. Always picks me up when I fall. So, thank you. So, she wanted some space. So we were there with Krishna, but we wanted some space. Like Krishna said, okay, go to the material world. I'll give you a whole universe. Go and choose a planet, get on the planet, and live out your life. Do what you want to do. But there'll be birth, there'll be death, there'll be old age and disease. Enjoy yourself. It's not a good package.
But you can enjoy yourself. It's not necessarily a bad package.
Yeah, it's a limited package. It's a limited package. The body is, you're young. 40 years time you're going to be singing a different tune. That's all. No, I'm just being realistic. Yeah, that's real. That's just being true. So it's not a bad package. And Earth is called Marcha Loka. There's many planets. This is called Marcha Loka. Marcha means the place of death, because on this planet we don't live long. People live much longer in other places in the universe. But this planet is just the right balance. It's not too bad, because if it's too bad you can't concentrate on spiritual life, but it's not too good, because if it's too good you also can't concentrate. So it has to be that right balance. So it's a good, when I say life's all bad, I mean my life's good, to be honest. But it's not so good that I'm convinced that I want to stay here forever and ever and ever. I just don't want to keep reincarnating as the manager of Hare Krishna Valley. I mean, if I did, that's not bad. But I think there is something better. I'm kind of banking on it. I really hope it's true. No, I'm convinced it's true. But it's reincarnation is a science. Whatever consciousness you develop, that's what you become. There's like this philosophy going around that we all just evolve. It's not like that at all. We're not all evolving. When was Adolf Hitler evolving? I mean, he was a vegetarian. That's pretty evolved. Had some very well organised, very a lot of good qualities, but then some real crazy stuff. So do you think he's going to be overcome? Hey, let it down. It's our peacock. Calm down. No one listens to me on this farm. Even the peacocks don't listen to me. So it's our consciousness, whatever we develop, our desires, that's what we become. So it's up to our what we're developing. Like that. So reincarnation's a science. It's not just something, I want to become this or I want to become. It doesn't work like that. So even in this world, you can't say, I just want to be a doctor. So I just go and I go down to Winchelsea, I open a house, I put doctor's surgery on the front. Everyone comes in. I say, yeah, what's wrong with you? I've got a headache. Oh yeah, no problem. You just take this. Go, give me $50. Go. No, after a while, being like, wait a minute. This guy hasn't even studied anything. He doesn't know anything. Or I say, I'm a brain surgeon. You got a tune? Yeah, no problem. I'll fix you. I've read a book. Like that. It doesn't work like that. So you can't just become something. You have to develop it. It's a nice question. Any other questions? You had a question?
Oh, sorry, you answered the question.
I answered it already? Yeah. Okay. Makes my life easy. Any other question?
How many times do you get reincarnated or before you go up?
That's up to you. That's your choice.
How do you mean my choice?
Well, you have free will and independence. So according to how you use your free will and independence, that you are shaping your destiny.
So if I say I want to go up there, reincarnated, can you do that? Or
Yeah, if you say I want to go up there, then you have to. Then we can teach you how to do that. Then you have to make lifestyle You have to change your lifestyle, probably. I mean, unless you're already doing, if you tell me what you're doing, I'll say, yeah, that's cool. Then, yeah, keep doing it. But, you'd have to change your lifestyle. It's not an automatic thing. It's like you can get up now, there's 4 doors here, right? So you can choose which door you want to get. That's your free will. So according to how you live, then you will go to that place according to the way you're living your life. So if we live our life in the correct way, then we will go to the right destination. So going to the spiritual world, right, you have to live in a particular way. For example, Adolf Hitler, as I gave the example before, there's no way he's going to the spiritual world because, he gets to the gateway and, someone's going to be there. They're going to say, well, there's a few things we need to talk about. A few things were not right there. Right? So you're probably going to have to go back to another place.
Live another life.
Yeah. Life is a preparation, death is the examination. Right? At the time of death, you'll be examined for how you prepared your consciousness. Right? So according to what your consciousness is, and what your strongest desire is at the time of death, that's where you'll go to. So if your desire at the time of death is, I want to be really rich, I didn't make enough money this lifetime. Some people will die like that. They'll actually be thinking like that. Oh, I'm really attached to my house and everything like that. Even Prabhupada, who's our guru, when he came to Melbourne in 1974, I think it was, we had a small temple. Now we've got a big temple in Albert Park, but we had a small temple in St Kilda before that one. And Prabhupada was sitting there in the house, like a terrace house in St Kilda, and there was a tree in the backyard, and the tree was growing towards the window of the house, like trying to get into the house, so to speak. And Prabhupada said, that is the landlord. He owned this house in his previous life. He was so attached to this house, he took birth, and now he's trying to get back in. So whether or not that's true, I accept that as true, but whether or not we accept those things as true, but that's basically the system. Whatever your consciousness is, that's what you'll become. Kelly, go ahead.
Might sound morbid or whatever, but what about children then, or like infants? How does that work?
What if infants?
What if they die when they're little? How does that work? They haven't had time to practice and
To make karma.
Yeah, how does that work with them?
Yeah, because there's a previous life.
Yeah, they've had a previous life and they've reincarnated. Why do they then just?
Because you're bringing your karma with you.
Why do people get to live and then they don't?
That's all. Everything is karma in this world. Everything.
So infant who died.
Yes, everything. Everything in this world, good and bad, is karma.
Okay. So he or she is bringing his own karma from the previous life.
Yeah, of course.
But he is not getting any chance on this life to.
Then there's a next life. Then there's a next life. Everyone gets a chance.
But not in.
We're talking about reincarnation.
But he got reincarnated as.
No, you're not understanding the point. Understand the point.
I think I'm not understanding the cycle.
No, understand the point. The point is, it may be a little difficult to understand, but just try to follow it. You're doing bad things in your last life.
Yeah.
You can't get all the karma in your last life for all the bad things you did.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then you're born in this life.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you die young,
Yes.
right, when you're 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 12 or 16, that is because of your negative karma that you did in your last life. That karma is now gone. So then in your next life, now you have more opportunities to improve yourself.
So it's like somebody was like really, really, really bad in their life, like really, really, really bad, so they don't get as much opportunity.
Yeah.
And then it.
Some people never get out of the womb. Right? Why are there so many abortions? Right? Because so many people have done that to others in their previous life. Like I heard the figure the other day or something in Russia, something like Russia was 30 million abortions in 1 year. I think that's accurate, I could be wrong. That's just Russia. So imagine all that karma. So many people killing the baby before it even comes out. And then it just creates that karma coming again and again and again.
So is your definition of karma based on revenge?
Not revenge, it's law, or it's justice. The simple understanding is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. As you sow, so shall you reap. So it's not revenge, it's karma. You're doing it. Karma is you. It's not someone doing it to you. It's you. If something bad happens in your life, you did that. In your previous life, like, bad things happen to me. Right? So if bad things happen to me, if I'm enlightened in my understanding, I think, well, I obviously did something bad in my previous life. There's no other explanation. There's no logical explanation. That's the only logical explanation. That's why we accept these teachings.
So karma is not based on sort of mind, body or speech with a consequence. It's based on kind of, if you did something wrong, it's going to come back and haunt you.
The word karma means activity. So whatever you did in the previous life, that comes back to you. You did good things.
Yeah.
Good things come back to you. You do negative things. It's not, karma doesn't mean bad. It means,
karma is intentional action, isn't it?
Karma means activity, action.
Mm.
Like, okay, so hypothetically, I'm going to throw this iPhone at your head now, right? Well, I'm not going to do it, it's a hypothetical example. I throw that. So that hits you in the head, right? What's going to be the reaction, right? You're going to be angry, upset. You might run at me now and like grab the Hare on the throat and like throw him on the ground and like, you know, beat him or something like that. You know, maybe, or maybe you might just say, well, that was my karma, you know, and I'm just completely peaceful with it. You know, how you react, right? So activity means, karma means activity. I do something negative. So if I do that, I throw the iPhone at your head, hits you in the head, causes you pain. Everyone else here is like disgusted by the behavior. I'm going to get karma for that. So the next week I'm walking down the street, you know, and something hits me in the head and I was like, oh, why did that happen? Or next lifetime something hits me in the head, oh, why did that happen? No, it's all karma. We're doing the whole thing. 100% responsibility on ourselves. The problem is people don't want to accept that. So you don't want to accept that, that's cool. It doesn't change anything though. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
But never mind.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
It's action and reaction, isn't it? That's what
Yeah.
karma is.
Yeah, to me it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whether people accept it or understand it, or, you know, it might even make sense to people, but they don't accept it. Or it might just not make sense. That's cool. However it is, that's all good. But that's our explanation. So, yeah.
So in that, if you have lived your life and then you weren't aware that you were doing things that were not very good,
Not good.
and then you start to realise that you have,
Yeah.
that weren't good things.
Yeah.
How do you is there a way of reconciling that? Is there a way of, you know,
Rectifying it.
yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah. When you take up the lifestyle that we've taken up, which means, you know, we're vegetarians, we don't commit violence to other living entities, and, you know, many things we do, which is it negates that karma or destroys it. Yeah. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Moksha yashami masucha. Moksha means liberation. So he liberates you from your karma. If you follow his teachings. That's what he said. That's all he said. Just follow what I'm advising. I'll liberate you from all that karma, all that negative energy. And I feel myself, because I've been following this for 30 years, I do feel light. You know, I've still got karma, things still happen to me, but it's a lot lighter than what I think it would have been. Like that. It feels like that. So, yeah, it can disappear. If you do something, if you know something's bad and you do it, you get a lot more reaction or karma than if you didn't know. So probably up until today, walking in here, you know, you probably got off. But now that you're starting to hear these things and understand these things, and now if you keep doing it, right? And where do all these teachings come from? India, right? And you look at India, right? They've got like the most enlightened teachings in the world, and a lot of people don't follow it, and the place is a chaotic mess. Is that an accurate description? How would you describe it?
Chaos.
What's that?
Beautiful chaos.
Yeah, if you like chaos, it's a great place to be. But yeah, there's a lot of mess there, right? And it's because they have enlightened teachings but don't follow it. So if you know something and you don't follow it, then it's just like with our children. Like if your kid doesn't know something, does something, you want to say, hey, you shouldn't have done that, don't do that. But if they know it and they keep doing it, then you have to get heavier. Hey, this is not good, stop this. Like that's karma. So if you don't know, then that's okay. But now you know, now you have to change. Otherwise, it will come heavy. And I see people who know this and they don't follow it. Things become messy. So it's just our choice to follow. Someone else put their hand? Did you? Yeah.
I was just going to make a little statement.
Yeah.
That all I know for myself, and I don't truly need to understand or believe in Krishna or in a God or in karma or any of it. All I know is that when I followed what doesn't feel right, and I've done things in my life, it's always ended with misery. The moment I do what feels right, which is be a vegetarian, be kind to people, do all just the general things that we all should know in the world. That's why the world to me is upside down. That's why the world, everyone's stockpiling toilet paper. Nobody cares less about the next person. That's where all the trouble is. So I just don't, for me personally, I got a lot from coming here just purely because I think to myself, even if that's what you take, just a little bit of kindness back into the world, then you're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether or not I go up or across or back here or not back here, to me it doesn't, I don't need to understand it. And for you it's great, that's where you're at.
Yeah.
But we don't all have to be there, but it's more just about a bit of kindness.
Yeah.
And the world is topsy-turvy and it is hard out there.
Yeah, on the minimal level, as you said, the minimal level coming here, you're going to get a good vibe. That's the minimal level.
It's the minimal.
Like that, and you could potentially go, to a much higher level of consciousness.
Yeah, but every time it's your own, whether I come here or whether I'm doing it in your day-to-day life, you have to. Well, my view is every day I get better. Every day I'm working, but I've done it since I was young. But you get slipped up with regards to just the world as.
Yeah, and it's a good point. That, just to make a comment on it, there's the one problem can be is that quite often our inner consciousness can be our own mind. And our mind, if you look around the planet, many people's minds tell them that, oh, this is good or this is like that. Even yesterday I saw on the internet, there was a guy, that's right, there was an article, I think came up on Facebook, in front of Bunnings, they always do sausage sizzles. So then there was a vegan sausage sizzle. So it was on the news. One of the Channel 7 or Channel 9 or something picked up on it. So like a vegan sausage sizzle was big news. And then there was one guy, and he obviously wasn't a vegetarian, he said, I'm vegan because the animals all eat the grass and I eat them, so it's transmitting the energy, which is not vegan, right? So in that guy's mind, that was correct and right. So that's the problem with that. If it's just your mind, because everyone will have a different, like if you go around this room, everyone will have a different, from their own perception, what is right and what is good. So at the end of the day, there has to be a final understanding. And we, once again, it's just our opinion, but we argue that it's coming from the Bhagavad Gita and these teachings. That is like the correct understanding, which overrides all of our limited understandings. Nice contribution, thank you. Please come again. I've seen you here before. Any other questions? Yeah. You go.
Could you speak about your vegetarian background, how it started? Although you may have covered it before, I came in a bit late. But could you give a little bit of background and
I became
for
vegetarian.
yourself personally and how that came to be? And did it start in a particular way, or has you've been that way inclined since when you were young?
I was inclined from when I was young, but I wasn't brought up in a vegetarian family. But I was inclined.
Okay.
I went to the Royal Melbourne show. I can't remember how old, I think I was about 8 or something. And I was, they had a deer's head on the wall. When they shoot deer and they mount the head. I'd never seen that before. Up until I was 8, I'd never seen that. And when I saw it, I just broke down crying. I said to my dad, what's that? He said, oh, well, they shoot the deer and they cut it and they put it, I was crying. I'm like, who does that? Right. So it was something in me from the beginning, I think from my previous life, that I just had this natural inclination towards non-violence. It's unnecessary. Why shoot a deer so you can put the thing on the head? But at the same time, my parents were feeding me meat, so I was eating it, But then when I got to about the age, I think it was about 15, then I really started to question things. I just started thinking, oh, you know, why do we do this? And then, you know, vegetarian was just beginning to come up in the 80s. So then, you know, I was just starting to look around. And then I think I was about 17, I was into Prince, you know, Purple Rain. You know, I'm talking about Prince, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I was 80, so I was into Prince. And then he was a vegetarian. So that had a big impact on me. I thought, oh, well, Prince is a vegetarian, that's pretty far out, you know. So then I started practicing it. But then I'd have my fall downs or slip ups because, you know, my mum would cook something which I liked. So then I would eat it. But then, you know, I didn't have that commitment to it, like the deep commitment. But then it was only when I met the Hare Krishna devotees and when I started to read the book, and they really explained to me, there's karma attached to this. You know, if you kill the animal, then you've got to take that, because that's an unnecessary violence. That will come back to you. That's when I understood it all clicked. So then for the last 30 years that I haven't eaten it. That's just my story.
So within the Hare Krishna practices, is there a way of approaching vegetarianism and food? Is there a way that food is combined? Is there a ritual around it which makes it more sacred? Or is just the fact that there is this inclination that it's not right to kill animals? Is there something else? Is there a science to the method of vegetarianism that makes it, you know, fall within a sacred geometry or something that makes it bound together, that has more wellness to the mind and body as a system?
Excellent question. Yeah, we're not actually vegetarians. By that I don't mean we eat meat, because we don't. But vegetarianism is just the beginning of enlightenment in and of itself, because when you eat a carrot, you've taken a life. So there's karma.
It's still an unplugging from something that has the right to grow and experience life and death cycle in its own context, and we are disturbing it.
So anything which has a central nervous system, which means an animal, we don't touch, because we're forbidden according to the ancient teachings. It says that is not the food for the men or for the humans. You know, it says in the ancient teachings humans don't eat like that. So we don't. That's why we don't eat that. But then we're still taking the life when we take the vegetable. So what we do is, were you here before when they did the offering?
No, I noticed it being taken away.
Yeah, okay. So what we do, we just cooked, there's a whole feast we just cooked in the kitchen.
Okay.
We bring it in and we offer it to God, to Krishna. And then our psychology or our tradition teaches us to offer the food back to the Supreme where it came from, the person who gave us everything. We take the food and we offer it back. Now, why do we do that? Because A, he's probably not hungry, because he's God, so, you know. Next time I meet him, I'll say, do you get hungry? And it's like, but, you know, good chance he can just say, okay, no hunger. Okay, that's it, done. That's dinner. Yeah, probably forever he can do that. So he doesn't really need the food, so to speak, but what he enjoys is the love, right? So it's like if you come to my house, you know, I'll cook a nice meal and I'll sit you down and I'll say, here, take this. And so I offer it to you, right? You know, I don't cook something and then you come over and I start eating it and I say, oh, would you like some? You know, that's not really the right mentality. So the reason we offer it to Krishna or God first is because that's the sign of our love or our devotion. The food is the vehicle for that. So then it becomes sacred geometry, as you said, or it becomes what we call prasad in Sanskrit. Yeah, which means something which is blessed. That's what prasad means, something which is blessed. So the food becomes blessed by Krishna and becomes spiritualized. So just by eating it, your consciousness becomes purified and you become enlightened.
So does that enter then the world of prana, that next level of an energetic...
Prana's in between.
And in between.
Yeah, prana, the word prana means life or energy. So whenever you eat anything, you're getting energy. So if you eat meat, you get energy, but you get a negative energy also. There'll be some nutrition for the body, but there'll also be a negative vibration.
Okay, so prana is just energy, not necessarily within a positive or negative vibration.
Yeah, you could say it like that. Ultimately, it's positive.
Okay.
Ultimately, it's positive. But yeah, it's a vibration. It means life. Prana means life or energy. So when you eat, you're taking prana, you're taking life to sustain our life. But this is adding like it's putting like an override or an extra dimension onto it, which is the spiritual energy of the Supreme Entity Himself blessing it. So then it becomes not just materially nourishing, but spiritually nourishing and enlightening also. Yeah. So that's why people say the Hare Krishna food tastes different, better. People get addicted to it. Well, I won't point out the members who are sitting here now, but some people are addicted to Hare Krishna food.
I have heard that, and that's why I thought, is there something else around it, in the ritual aspect, the way it's, offered or blessed, that's maybe not even blessed by the human, ourselves, because as you mentioned earlier with karma, we are tainted. There's things, sometimes our mind can trick us and construct something that's...
there's only one person who can purify it.
But if you just offer it, that's right, for that, and you stand back from that, then you receive from that what's needed for you, karmically. Or is it...
You'll get purified.
Purified in your own way, okay.
And I see people who eat purified food, what we call prasad, regularly, they become more enlightened. And things begin to click. It's like, oh, wait a minute, now I understand that, It's like, it's a source of enlightenment. So the Hare Krishna movement's so easy. All you have to do is chant. We did that earlier on, right? Eat the blessed food. Just read a little bit of the enlightened philosophy, and then you become fully enlightened. Very easy process.
And the philosophy that you read, you mentioned the Bhagavad Gita, is there anything else you read, or is it...
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we read.
Okay,
the second shelf up there, on the bookshelf there, that's one volume, that's 18 volumes, that's one book. So that's like the next section from the Bhagavad Gita. It's called the Bhagavatam. And then there's stuff beyond that as well. So it's a lot of... there's enough to keep you going.
And do you hold classes on philosophy? Like, are there... in a similar way you're doing this? Is there a class? Okay.
All over. I teach in Melbourne 2 nights a week.
Okay.
And then I teach here periodically. We get together and discuss here as well. We have retreats and there's stuff going on all the time. In our temple in Melbourne, every morning at 7:30 there's a class, a philosophy class. So. And now you can just go online. We have a website called ISKCON Desire Tree. So you can look it up. I can write it down for you if you need it. ISKCON Desire Tree. And there's like hundreds of thousands of lectures by gurus. And you can just pick whatever you want. So all day you can just, you're just sitting there while you're cooking and just listening. Like, that's what the guys do when they're cooking, they're listening to lectures.
Okay.
So it's also when you're cooking the food, the people who cook, like our devotees who have cooked today, because they're in pure consciousness, their consciousness also goes into the food. So it's important who cooks it, how it's offered, all these things. It's also important how you eat it too. Right? Not just like, stuffing yourself and like, but actually doing it in like a meditative way. That this is coming from the Supreme, there's a gift like that. So it's also you're conscious of how you receive it. Just like if I give you a gift, it's how you receive it also. I can give you something, you can be like, oh yeah, whatever. So if you like that with the holy food, then you won't get as enlightened. Very good question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So as you mentioned, we live in the world of death, and there's a few situations.
That's a bit morbid.
Well,
I did say that though.
There is a few situations that I'm a little concerned about, and that's one being, you're driving a car and you're driving the limit, and a rabbit comes out, and poor thing, it happens. Much karma attached to that, like what?
Oh, if you accidentally kill something?
Accidentally.
100 years ago, we didn't have cars. That's not 150 years ago, we didn't have cars. So people used to go on bullock carts and horse carts and stuff like that. And when you're going at about 5 kilometers an hour, it's hard to run something over. So now that we drive cars, yes, we do, even when it's accidental. So it's, if you intentionally run something over, okay, there's full karma, you get the whole thing. If you do it accidentally, we get a little bit, or some, because we don't have to drive cars. It's like a social thing which now it's in the world, and it's not, I don't think it's improved our lives, having cars. Because now we're not living in villages anymore. Because you've got a car, so you can get here and there. Before, everyone had to walk or get on the horse or so you had to live in a village. And people say, "Oh, that's backward, that's old-fashioned." No, it was actually good because psychologically, everyone was a lot happier. Right? Mental disease was minimal. If you had problems, the village would take care of it for you. You didn't have a lot of privacy. People say, "Well, that's a negative thing." It was actually a good thing because everyone was involved with each other. Everyone knew each other. I read a study recently, and they said the two things which are most important for longevity, if you want to live a long life. Does anyone know what the two things are?
Community?
Yeah, community. Yeah, they actually specifically they said speaking to strangers. Right? Just every day, you meet someone and you openly talk with them like that. And the other thing they said is when you go through very difficult things in your life, you have support, which is community. Okay. Those two factors are the most important factors for longevity. So yeah, if we do hit something with a car, you get a little bit of karma. Because we did choose to. Yeah, you could have walked here today.
What about like worst case scenario? You're really hungry, tried eating grass, and there's a rabbit there or something, and to survive you need food. To kill them, you need
kill an animal.
Feed your family.
It says in the ancient teachings, you're only allowed to eat animals in emergency. So we're not eating in an emergency. My whole life, I've never been in an emergency where I had to eat an animal. Yeah, if you're at the point where the world's like falling apart, we can't get toilet paper, and then we can't get cans of food, and then we can't get fresh vegetables, like all that stuff. If it gets to that level, yes, then you can take animals. But that's like the last resort.
Following on that, the potential of roaming savages, bandits, to protect your tribe, to take a life.
Yeah, if someone attacks you to kill you, you're allowed to kill the person, and there's no karma. Like if you come to kill me now, if you come to kill me now, according to the universal laws, I'm allowed to defend myself, and defending means you're going to take my life. If you're that intense, the only way to stop you is I have to take your life. I don't get any karma for that, because I'm not the perpetrator. I'm just defending. That's within the laws. So there's no karma. But please don't do that. We'll feed you today. So. Okay. We'll stop here for today, if that's okay.
Just
yeah.
a small question.
I won't take it now. I'll take it after. I can answer the question, but we have to finish because lunch is ready.
Oh, yeah.
They're about to serve. So thank you all for coming.